Hello, my name is Jacob Monk. Welcome to this little video about Protestants and Europe. I'm asking myself the question, why do Protestants not like Europe? And I believe I have some answers. This hatred between Protestants and Europe, that means Protestants hate against Europe, it goes quite long way back. It came from the Westphalian Peace in 1648, where the 30 Years' War was ended in Europe. You know, the 30 Years' War was a big European war between a lot of European states. First of all, Sweden, France, and small Germany states fighting against each other, trying to decide what part of Europe shall be Catholic and what part of Europe shall be Protestant. And the conclusion of the 30 Years' War, the Westphalian Peace, was that every ruler in every country and every region, he can decide himself what kind of religion shall be the dominant religion in that area of Germany, of Europe. Well, it is basically an idea that religion is a responsibility of the king, and the king can decide what kind of religion is the right one for his subordinates, and therefore the religion of the king is of very high importance according to the Westphalian Peace, the Westphalian Treaty, because the religion of the king will have to be the religion of the citizens in that state, in that country. Well, since then, Protestant has been enemies of Europe, and today, 2019, they are enemies too. You see the countries in Northern Europe that don't want to be real engaged in a united Europe, they are all Protestant. It is England, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. Well, Norway, with it, they don't even want to be a part of the European Union. So they're very much against a united Europe, and they are even much more against a united Europe based on Christianity, because they know that European Christianity is a Catholic Christianity. And from the Reformation, 1517, and ongoing in the history of Europe, Protestant has tried to make distance, hostility between the Catholics and the Protestants. When the Muslims tried to conquer Europe, they had some kind of success. You know, they conquered Istanbul, and it was called Constantinople before. And after that, when Luther and his followers, they gained power in Northern Europe, they contacted the Islamic ruler and tried to make some kind of cooperation between Protestantism and the Islamic ruler. And they did exactly the same years later when it came to the Byzantine ruler. They wanted to work together with the Byzantine ruler in Moscow. But the Byzantine ruler, he rejected Martin Luther because he said that Byzantine religion is very much against Roman Catholicism, but we are also against Protestantism. But as a matter of fact, the Byzantine religion is not that much against Protestantism, because nowadays the Protestants and the Byzantine churches, they are together in the World Union of Churches. They claim they have a big Christian union of all kinds of Christian churches, going from Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, Protestants, Lutherans, Russian Orthodox, and so on and so forth. They claim to be Christians, all of them, and they are very much against the Pope in Rome and the Roman Catholic religion. That is, they are against the European religion. Well, Luther, he was a nationalist. That is why he was against the religion of internationalism. And Roman Catholic religion is an international religion. Also, Luther was a very authoritarian person. He had the idea that all rules in a society should be decided by the king or the emperor. And this was very much against the Roman Catholic philosophy, because in Roman Catholicism, the idea is that the church is separate from the power. The power is run by kings, queens, and emperors, but the church is independent from these kings and rulers. Not like in Lutheran states, for example, here in Denmark, where we have a state church. We have to pay tax, all of us. I'm a Catholic, I have to pay tax to the Lutheran church here in Denmark, although I'm a Catholic. That is very hard, very much going against my basic human rights, because the human rights of modern people is not to pay money to any other religion than the religion you have yourself. Well, Protestants are against Europe. They have been that since 1648. Today, USA is fighting also very much against Europe. And also the Russian church, they are very much against a united Europe. And they are all different kind of non-Catholics. You know, the Protestants in USA, they are called Calvinist. The dominant religion in USA is Calvinism. And Calvinism is a kind of hardcore Lutheranism. It is Lutheranism multiplied with 2. It's even more based on predestination than Luther himself was. So Calvin, he considered himself being a Lutheran, but actually he said that Martin Luther didn't understand himself. So Calvin, he wanted to explain to Luther and to Luther's followers what was the core essence of the Lutheran religion, and that is what he did. Here in Denmark we have a right-wing party called Danish Folk Party, very much anti-Islamic right-wing party, and they are the supporters of Lutheranism here in Denmark. But also the other political parties in the Danish parliament, they are all supporters of Lutheranism. Catholics has actually no real influence here in Denmark, but Muslims, they have some influence. Actually, we have several Muslims in the Danish parliament. We have 0 Catholics. So Denmark is more Islamic than it is Catholic. And that is probably the reason why the Protestant wants Denmark to stay out of Europe, out of any negotiation about European economy, European currency, European army, European parliament, European constitution, and European development. Well, Denmark wants to be a colony of the Calvinist USA, because USA, they have 800 military bases. They want to run the whole world. I'm so happy to say that they won't succeed in running the whole world, but that's what they are trying. And they threaten to ruin every country that do not want to be a colony of USA. So we are not in a danger here in Denmark, because we are colony of USA. But China, they are trying to connect with a lot of states in Europe, with Greece, with Italy, with France, with Poland, Eastern European states. Yes, and I hope they will succeed. I know they will succeed. So USA is on their way down, and that is Protestantism is on its way down. Because China has just made a strategic treaty with the Vatican about development of Christianity in China and probably the development of Chinese influence in Europe. And we need Chinese influence because we want to get rid of USA. USA is the big enemy of the civilization, and we don't want to be subordinate to USA. We want to have freedom, not to be a colony of USA, but to decide our own fate. Protestantism, they like USA, they don't like Europe, they don't like Christianity, they don't like Eastern Europe, Russia, they don't like China. Actually, like Martin Luther, they hate everything except themselves and USA. So why don't we call all Protestants to immigrate to USA and stay there, so we can have a Christian Europe and maybe a Protestant USA? I really don't care, as long as Europe can work in peace with our close partners, that is the whole Eurasian continent, Eastern Europe, Russia, China, Asia, and the whole world. Remember, USA is 5% of the world. We want to connect to 95% of the world. And that is why we cannot build our future on Protestantism, because Protestantism is pure evil and is going to harm Europe and the citizens of Europe. Thank you for listening.